Back on the lips. Oh, was one mistake I made. Oh. This right here, using just black on fake skin would definitely like teach you light-handed. If you is a heavy-handed person, you get that a lot. Definitely practice on black, all black.
Working on this joint for about 3 weeks, right? It's turning out amazing, brother. Hard work and patience definitely paying off.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been probably 3 weeks, but I need to get it more consistent because I'm trying to be done before the end of this month. So definitely I'm about to be on putting a little more time into it. But yeah, it's been coming together real nice. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Taking out 7 curve mag inside the lip. Make sure we go from that not too dark with that medium to light tone for the bottom of that lip. On real portraits, I normally go way darker than this. This is the first time I'm actually using all black. I'm actually trying to get some soft tones. Soft tones. So if you need to build up patience, I say get on some fake skin, use straight black ink. Learn to get some light tones with black ink only. Definitely gonna take some layering. If you're not comfortable with layering, definitely use the black on the fake skin. It's gonna definitely help you out with layering. Also getting a light hand. Need a light hand to layer with this black. If not, it's gonna go too dark, too fast. Too dark, too fast. You don't want that. 13 curve mag on the side of the lip. Definitely this is where the shadows fall at. If we start dragging them, pulling this out on the side. Slowly building up, back and forth. Throughout this whole piece, I definitely caught myself doing most of the pendulum motion. But enough, this the most I ain't gonna say this the most I've used pendulum, but pendulum motion is most of what I've been doing. Slightly building it up. Patience, take your time, take your time. Sometimes, like when I'm doing lights, I do catch myself doing a lot of the backstroke. Which this not really a light, it's more of a medium tone, so that's why you catch me going back and forth. On that lip, I definitely was doing more of like a straight pullback. Make sure it don't be too dark. Whatever works for you is personal preference, which like method you prefer to shade. Cross hatch, whatever. And right now that look dark, but I know it's not dark. Once I wipe it down, it be looking like it's barely there. But that just show you the build up. You gotta keep building up. You don't know, you're not comfortable with layering. You see, just keep on hitting black and build it up. Take your time. Gotta go back in this area. Get to that edge. You got a little bit darker. That's why I was building that up slowly. Like an indenture on the side of the face. Right where this curve at. As you notice, that's why my stencil line is right there, so I know exactly where that kind of cut off. But I still look at my reference photo to be safe, to be sure of that's where I want it to stop at. So that's where it tend to fade off, right by that line. So we're gonna lighten up as we get close to that line.
My boy, that is fly.
Appreciate it, appreciate it. That's all. Just the more you do it, easier to get, but it's like same movement. Some people use just one movement, some people use 2, 3 movements. Just the technique you choose, you know, the one you prefer to go with. What's work for you? Everything don't work for everybody, so Whatever you learn, you take heed, but only use what work for you. I'll definitely say that. Hard to try, but if it make your life harder, you know, probably not a good fit. If you already know how to do that one thing, second way harder, yep, stick your way. I go super light in this area. That's why that's there. That show that shadow come back to that line. Soften it up to get to the back of that line. After that, the face definitely get even softer. Build it up, build it up. So the curve of that cheek, hit with that mag. Right there and curve it around. Alright, let's start connecting it, soften it out though. Trying to get back to making this part a little bit structure. Making it soft, you're gonna shade away from it a little more to try to blend it in. Right in that center, you're gonna tell this a little more crisp right there. Not too hard as you come to that end. Wipe it down. And because if you over tattoo on top of the stencil, the shades can actually be way darker, but you can't see how dark they is due to that stencil being darker on there. So that's a lesson I've learned, because I definitely went too dark in this area because that stencil was on top of it and I couldn't see how dark I did it. But now, from now on, I'm about to just hit these areas light and then get the stencil off, and then I know how light I actually am. And I just build up on top of that. But build up too soon with that stencil there, you don't know how dark you get. Wipe it off, end up real dark like that. But you know, we live, we learn. Keep on moving. That's the only thing that matters though. Keep on moving. Main thing is you learn from that mistake though. If you don't, you're gonna keep making the same one over and over. Brush all this down. Side the face. Tab, you're gonna brush all the way down. Matter of fact, I don't gotta do that with the 7. I could just switch over to our 13 curve mag, what I just was using. This is the bigger mag, it'll cover more face. Brighten that up. Let's see, bigger mag. That's what the bigger mag's for. That's why you don't gotta stick to that one needle. Bigger mag, so brushed up. Soften it out. Go to this image. Well, I keep on switching between my reference photos. Because I know, like, okay, this one got more shadow showing, this one got more highlight showing. That's why you're switching between photos. Oh, yep. Bigger spots, use that 13 curve mag, even 15 if you need it. I've just been using my 13 now. I used to use the 15. Follow that stencil. Alright, you notice where that shade kind of stops at. Right up in this area. Looking at the stencil, boom. Just come all the way up here. Connect with this cheekbone right there. Soften all that out.
What up?
What's up? What's up? How's it going today?
Learning from our mistakes could be the difference between progress and insanity.
Correct. Doing the same thing over and over. Yep. I think I probably been there before when I first started, not knowing no better. But yep, if you know better, you do better. That's it. They don't make sense. Keep putting in the work, putting in the hours to do the same things. You know, we gotta get somewhere. Gotta make that progress. Wipe that down. You see where our shades landing at, and you see how soft they are. So on the stencil itself, I'm not gonna go in the darker. I'm just gonna brush inside the face for the stencil not at. So wipe that away. We'll have our structure there. But I'm not gonna go too high yet. Let's go back up in this area. Finish filling out above the mouth before we go any higher. But we do plan on getting up to our eyes. We'll see how far we get though. Remember, we're not going too dark on that crease at all. Basically creating that structure, not the structure around it, some of the shadows around it. So when we do put that bleach on there, time to get a little bit darker. We'll know how dark we need to get. We're not trying to go too dark. But that stencil there. Same thing in the inside the nose. It's gonna be real dark inside there, but I'm not gonna go too dark early on. Gonna kind of map it out.
Your shades look way smoother, bro.
Appreciate it. Yep, that's the plan. No progress. Progress over everything. That's it. We ain't gonna be in the same spot as long as we keep progressing. And another thing, I don't know when the last time you seen, but last time I was using tones versus this time I'm using straight black. I just gotta build up this black until I get the tone that I want. That's another thing I learned, is try different approaches. That's it. But the straight black been definitely making me patient to get these smooth shades. Because if I was using different tones, I'll probably be moving a little faster than this.
Just using solid black?
Yep, this is solid black. I've been telling everybody, encouraging everybody to try solid black, because it's definitely gonna kind of build up that patience. Because you can't hit the skin near as hard as you could do it with the tones. If you do, it's gonna just be way too dark. You gotta take your time and slightly build up. Correct that, and just moving slow. Yep, it's basically about the pressure. So that's why I said this is a solid black. I help you get real light-handed because you barely gotta touch the skin. You grazing it to build up these tones. Any little pressure at all gonna definitely give you a dark tone, dark shade. And I think I learned that down here. As I was hitting it, I noticed it was getting dark too fast. But as I was getting in here, I learned, okay, maybe I need to hit it like way more softer and not get that dark. Because over here, I didn't learn yet. So that's another good thing, start from the bottom. Because you get a feel for the person's skin, like what their skin can handle, what voltage you need to be running at. So by the time you get up here in the face, you already kind of adjusted to the person's skin itself, and the rest could be at the same voltage. Since I tattoo mostly dark skin, I would say black, medium, which would be like a half a cap of black, and one tone, one drop of black. So that's my light tone, light, medium, dark. I normally use like 3 tones. Because when tattooing dark skin, you can't use all them tones. Try to use all them tones, definitely gonna be dark. The 3 methods I use the pendulum method, which is back and forth, back and forth. Second method will be like a crosshatch. You come this way, build up, then you'll come that way, build up. The third method will be like a backstroke. You see me like how I kind of tend to pull down? That's when I'm going for my extra light tones. That's that pull down. That's like the backstroke. That's the one that came from David Vega. Everybody else pretty much used pendulum and cross hatching. I think pendulum would be one of the main ones you would use. That's one that probably everybody used, pendulum motion. The needles that we used on this was mostly 7 curve mag and a 13 curve mag. Down here I might have used a 15 as well, but We've been using mags on this so far. I don't think I'll use no lines, and probably not even in the eyes. But if I do, it'll probably be in the eyes, maybe on the lashes or the eyebrows. Yeah, I've been trying to get consistent at these 7 volts. I say whatever you started out with, try to be consistent with that voltage. So whatever piece I start, and then portrait, it'll be at this 7 volts. I don't really never change it until I'm probably packing in white. Then I'll drop my voltage, packing in white. But other than that, 7 volts it is. 3 people.
Very much appreciated.
No problem. 3 people I look at for the portraits is David Vega, Noah Beasy. And look them up if you don't know about him. You'll see this portrait. He did this exact portrait. But David Vega, Noah Beasy, and Ralph Nineweller, that's the 3 people I look up to for them portraits though. They all 3 of them got some smooth work. I think Noah Beasy more on a hyper realistic level though. It's not more like just realistic with him. Softly brush up underneath this side. But we ain't gonna go too close to the ball of that nose because that's gonna be shade on the outside. It's real light, so we're leaving that gap around it because we're gonna come back actually on the ball of the nose. Add that shade on there for that structure. Probably gonna be easier doing that with the 7 curve mag though, but guys, sometimes it's all about knowing how to tilt your needle and the edges of your needle versus just trying to use it completely flat. That's what I was saying for that backstroke. Try to get it real light. Always just wipe it down and check, see if we light enough or if we just too dark, or well, not too dark, because once we go too dark, we can't go back. So the goal is to try to keep it light. The goal is to try to keep it light and build up and build up. Because if we go too dark, we just done. Cook. Let's clean this up. Yeah, that's still light. We got a lot more building up to do in that area. Anybody trying to get the stencil off, definitely put the bleach. You can see the paper towel on there, a little wet bleach. Leave it on there 10 minutes. You'll see it start slowly fading away. Slowly fading away. Eat at it. All right, now in order for me to get this like all feel like skin, I just brush over that. I ain't going over that too many times. Real light. Gonna check that. Which I know nothing probably really not there, but we just gonna brush over it to kind of blend it in. Softly fade it in. We're gonna do it one more time. One more time in that area. Like I ain't gonna dip the needle. Brush over. All right, wipe it off again. Patience, patience. Even if it ain't how we want it, we could keep on brushing over it. See it softly starting to blend in. I might barely tap right there. This time we're gonna go probably with a little faster stroke. Over faster stroke than that slow stroke. Softly, that curve in it. That stencil right there, so we ain't gonna go too dark. Out the edge of that nose outside. That's as much as we gonna do. We're not gonna hit that no more. You know, I know it got a nice little darkness to it. Hopefully brush that. Our nose, we ain't gonna darken that up no more. Not enough of that. So get back in our nostrils. Darken them nostrils up no more. Good, darken that shadow up underneath. That bit. Back stroke up into that stencil mark. That's where the shadow at. On to the other side. Well, I know I'm gonna stay right here. Put that little curve right in the nose, so slowly shade that in. Gotta be too dark, but of course you might have to build it up to where it's a little darker. And to where it roll over with the nose. Trying to make no hard line. If you're getting them tight spots, you definitely got a curve. Some people even drop down to like a 5 curve, but I think I'm gonna be able to do all this with a 7 curve. They say we'll see how it turn out. Bless you. Left side. And so we're gonna shade on the outside of the nose, so we're gonna softly pour in. Softly pour in. The shade on the front of that nose. Best to close the gap, but real light, real light. Overdo it. Shade up here. The bridge at. A curve. They start out light, build up, build up. That's one of the things you don't want. It's there. So I'm just gonna like kind of soften it up a bit. Just so once that stencil gone, clear as day. Make a little more sharp, stand out. You gotta make it darker.
Now she's running like a champ.
I'll wipe it down, throw a little bleach on it. Clean it up. Ready for our next session. Next time we able to do it. Clean paper towel, wipe them down, wipe it down. Bleach, knock that. Record that. Yep, looking smooth, looking smooth. Drop it.